Let it be known, let it be known, I am uppity and proud. You want to be starting something? You want to have a problem with me? Call me, my kids, or a close loved one. Any one of these names, and there's going to be smoke in the city. Stupid. Jokers, comedians, and a lot of people think it's normal and jovial to call someone stupid. I don't play that. I know the literal sense and meaning of the word stupid. You're not going to play in my face and berate me. Gal, you might as well call me a house NI. You know the rest. Winch or belly warmer, 'cause you didn't set me off. Girl, do I look 8 years old to you? Did you know me when I was 8 years old? I'm Dr. Turner if you're nasty. Silly. Straight up fighting words. Anyone who's ever taught either of my kids, no, I will not allow you to call my kids silly. In the 13th century Old English, the origins of the word was literally something that was beautiful. Silly used to mean happy, fortuitous, prosperous. It was related to happiness, blessed, blissful, and it meant good-hearted. But not now. Now you got life messed up calling me and my kids because it changed in modern times, from the 13th century to the 16th century. It changed to foolishness, senselessness, weakness of understanding. Who's not able to understand? I understand. You might not like what I'm saying. You might not like what my kids are saying, but you clearly understand what we're saying. We are all very articulate, and we all know what we want and we mean what we say. So why would you reduce us down to being silly? You don't put me down to try to lift yourself up. So, last but not least, don't call me colored nothing. No woman of color, not people of color, not worker of color. Not in the history of this United States. My birth certificate says that I'm colored, which means less than, not equal to, unworthy, dirty. I was born down south in a small town. And don't ask me to go do self checkout. I don't work here. You're not giving me a staff discount. Why would I be checking my own stuff out to make it easier for you and for you to take a job from someone else? So I'm uppity and I'm proud. I go to look for a lapel pin or a button up t shirt or something that I could, get put on to a shirt. And what do I find? Literally, I've always said that Google is the devil. I find our first lady as the literal photo next to the definition, the AI overview of what uppity is. I find a picture of the one and only Michelle Obama. What in the when they go low, we go high came up. The first lady is pictured as the highlight of uppity. So you see here is haughty, arrogant, acting as if more important than they are. Wow. If it's offensive, because the history of the word has been to put black people in their place. It's a put down for a black person to have a sense of agency and autonomy to exhibit their community cultural wealth. It was first recorded in the literature of the book Uncle Remus in 1880. So I consider myself to be in good company. So the original context is that blacks by other blacks are felt to be too assertive. So now this is 1880. This is on the cusp of up from slavery. They're 2 weeks out of slavery, basically. I'm exaggerating, but in terms of the conditions and the way people were being treated, not much had changed for a lot of enslaved blacks. The word came from the British in 1670. The word uppish, lavish, conceited, and arrogant, and it was first reported in 1734. So the audacity to berate and put someone down, especially a Black person, for having a sense of agency and autonomy, to have community cultural wealth, to actually show that they have some cultural self worth and pride, that they actually have aspirational, navigational, social, resistant, linguistic, familiar, and spiritual capital. If you go back to the slide, the previous slide, it actually had aspirational in the description. That how dare they actually be aspirational and think that they could accomplish something. So, aspirational capital is sustaining hopes and dreams despite real and perceived barriers. Up from slavery in this country? Yeah, yeah. We have sustained hopes and dreams despite real and perceived barriers. Social capital, drawing on networks of people and resources from one's community. So I know people, high places, low places, we know how to get stuff done. We know how to keep things moving so we can navigate our social capital to get our needs met and the needs of our community to lift us up. Navigational capital, activating adaptive strengths and skills to maneuver through oppressive systems and social institutions like universities or the workforce. And I'm sure our FLOTUS had to do plenty of that. Growing up on the south side of Chicago, going to Princeton, and then going to Harvard, and then going to the White House. She had a lot of navigational capital choosing and getting into those positions. Spiritual capital, harnessing upon divine source and universal connectedness, sagacious intuition, rituals, or fanatical faith practices, and signifying. How many times have you seen our FLOTUS talk about her experiences growing up? If you've read her books, if you've heard her talk on various talk shows, she talked about the various practices that she's had connectedness, using her intuition. Next is resistant, developing knowledge and skills through behaviors challenging inequality. Challenging inequality, that's considered resistant. We've been doing this forever. Familiar capital, utilizing forms of knowledge and support obtained through family, immediate, extended, and chosen. Her even choosing Barack to be her husband was leverage. Her family capital, familiar capital. Linguistic capital, applying intellectual and social skills gained through communication in more than one language or style. Resistant. Yes, resistant language. Even the night 2008 when they won the White House, and she said, "My baby daddy, the President of the United States," she code switched to let you know that she was leveraging her community cultural wealth. So, my community cultural wealth is not for sale. And perhaps I am also called uppity behind my back. I know a few that have said it to my face. But our beautiful First Lady, Michelle LaVaughn Robinson Obama, who obviously owns her community cultural wealth, is not for sale either. I want to give you some quick examples of when Michelle Obama used her aspirational capital when she went to Princeton, her social capital, um, her career network, and the various jobs and careers that she's had. Her navigational capital, going to Harvard, the staff hires she had in the White House, her spiritual capital, the things that she's written in her books, being an author, the Let's Get Moving campaign. That was so deep that she was reaching back for the kids that were coming up and watching her. Resistant capital. She did a poverty awareness campaign as the First Lady. That ties into Dr. King. Um, He wanted to have a poverty bill of rights so that nobody in the United States would ever experience poverty. That's part of the resistance capital. Familia, her father was a Democratic Party captain. Um, her grandparents came up from slavery in the United States. Linguistic, she code switches so elegantly, but she code switches nonetheless. And I have this thing about code switching, but I don't have any issue with the way that she uses it. I think I'm in good company when it comes to community culture wealth, and I co-sign the quote from the First Lady. The difference between a broken community and a thriving one is the presence of women who are valued. I hope this message finds you well and maybe even uppity. Until real soon, peace, love, and blessings. Love you. Bye.